Welcome to Be Frank, the only Christian podcast that is frank about current issues. My name is Apostle Francis Ajamasari. You're welcome to season 2 of this show. Last year was wonderful. This year is going to be fire. And to help us discuss, we have some very interesting and powerful friends. But we are live on Precious TV, live on social media, Facebook to be exact, on Precious TV Official, and we are live on YouTube, Precious TV_official. And so get interactive with us. Let's know what you think about what we're going to be discussing. Invite your family and friends to be part of today's discussion. You can get interactive by sending your messages via our WhatsApp platform 020-4321-0203. The number will be on the screen. The pressure is all part of pressure. Today we'll be looking at crazy pressure, crazy people, and to help us discuss, we have some friends here. First off, we have KB the MC.
Yes sir.
We have Lucy.
Hi.
We have Josie.
Hello.
Josie. And then we have Smarty, observing journalist.
Better believe it.
So, welcome, guys. The pressure, if you need, I'm talking about pressure. The
pressure has already grabbed you.
So, Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year.
It's good to have you back. So, today we are talking about crazy pressure, crazy people. I have a video I want us to look at, and then I think we can start the discussion from there. So, if our first video is ready, please let's roll. Funny Faces video.
But what didn't take me through depression?
You just mentioned.
You are trying to mention, but you are just so I've mentioned it for you. What I'm trying to say is that it didn't take me to depression.
What took you to depression?
The love of my children took me to depression. What I say, I was so crazy about my daughters to the extent that when they were crawling, when they fall and cry, I cry too.
Oh.
Naturally, I'm emotional. You know your kids, like I love people's kids. I love people's kids deeply. So much more my own. So when I got Ella and Bella, it was, and that's the mistake I would tell people not to do. Never put your trust in humans or a subject or anything. Make God your focus. Make God the center of your attraction. When you put your trust in humans, when that thing is no more there, or when the human disappoints you, it will be difficult for you to bounce back. So my emotions were all over the place. When they are jumping, unless they don't, I don't see them to laugh. When they start laughing, I will start fooling more. At the age of when they were 4 months, like when they hear my voice, they laugh because they know you baby Jimmy that kind of thing, you know. So when they were no more with me, I couldn't take it. I lost it.
Wow.
That was Funny Face. I don't know if you're familiar with the story, but you know, bottom line, I think he went through a period of depression. I think for some context, if we could, if somebody could give us some backstory about this whole thing, you know.
So I think Funny Face was seeing someone, dating a lady, and I don't know if they were married or not married, but then they were courting. So he had kids with this lady, and at the end of the day, some issues came up. We don't know what exactly the issues are because all the narrative seems to be different. But then he was not allowed access to his kids, his beloved Ella and Bella. And you also know that because Adebayo has been an influence in his life, he took the names of the kids, like Adebayo is Emmanuel. So he named the kids Ella and Bella because of the closeness he is to Adebayo and all that. And because he was not getting access to the kids, it had a toll on him. And he realized that the lady that he had so much love for, and according to him, this is according to him, so that it doesn't sound like I'm the one insinuating, she was involved with other people and not just him and all that. And so he felt like the lady was exploiting him, you know, trying to get more money from him because she knew that he had it, considering his fame and his closeness to Adebayo. So every opportunity she got, she wanted to make money from him. And Funny Face, being very attached to the kids, he was giving so much to the point where he felt like, no, it's becoming too much, and he recognized it as exploitation. So a lot of people ask why he went to depression, and he said he has love for a lady with a big backside, and he said that was not only the reason, but the main reason was his love for the kids, his closeness to the kids. That was his narrative, and that's what sent him to the psychiatric hospital. At a point, he felt like there was nothing wrong with him, but later he realized that he was not acting like the real Funny Face. You know, and if you're a follower of his Instagram page, you just saw a switch in behavior. You know, he can wake up in the middle of the night, he has a speaker on his neck, he's walking around the compound of his house, he's playing loud music, he's screaming, he's singing alongside. He can just be on the road, put a speaker on the floor and start dancing. So it was, someone thought he was entertaining himself, but for many people who understand what depression does to a person, people try to channel their energy into something else so that they don't come off as wabodam in that sense. So those are some of the things that he went through, and he ended up, you know, trying to insult almost everybody that ever helped him in his career. That is when a lot of people started raising the eyebrow. They started saying, no, I think that there is a problem and our brother needs help. So some interventions came in. We heard later Adebayo saying that he has been trying to help him for some time, and he doesn't think that he wants the help. If he really needs the help, he would follow some of the things that he's saying, but he doesn't. So he would step aside and not be part of his life anymore. And that also made him go down the more, because this was someone who literally gave him his first Range Rover, gave him his the biggest check he has ever seen in his life, made him travel to the UK and all that. So everything around him was just crumbling and all that. And he ended up insulting the first man to ever put him on radio, Bola Ray, insulted the EIB network. And so it seemed as if everyone that played a major role in his life, he channeled his anger, frustration, whatever you like to call it, to them. And it was not usual. And for want of a better expression in the context of the conversation we're having, it was not normal for someone to do something like that, someone of that caliber, you know, to do something like that. So in this video, he's explaining to Andy Dusty, the host of Daily Hits of Hits FM, that it wasn't Bottles that took him to depression. That's not it. It was the love for his kids. And so he put so much trust in man, you know. He thought that the lady was the love of his life, or the lady of his youth. But the lady also has her own narratives and all that. But then that is the kind of depression that he had to deal with.
But don't you think he's wrong to say that it's not Botox that took him to depression? Because in a sense, it was Botox that took him to depression. Because if you marry the right Botox, yeah, I don't know if you know. If he married the right woman, probably he wouldn't have gotten himself in this situation. But I understand. I don't know if you mentioned that he was married before, and this is his second wife. So in a sense, the type of woman he married is, someone would say, is what has led him to the current state. Don't you agree?
I think at the early part of the diagnosis, he was seen granting a few interviews where he said, in fact, he is a lover of bottles. He loves a woman with a big backside. So he didn't even care about character. He didn't care. So long as you have those qualities, he likes it. And he would go in for it. And so after his treatment, he was given a show, one show that he staged. And whilst on stage, I think a lady got up in the audience to use the restroom also and said, "Hey, woman, you want Bottles to kill me again?" Like, wow. It was so like, you know, he felt like, hey, this woman wants to tempt him again because, and so like Apostle, like you have just said, I think that people love what they love sometimes. There are some people who say, I can't be with a slim lady. They just cannot be with it. And I would side with those people primarily because maybe if he's with a slim lady and he loves a lady who is thick, he would end up going to chase the thick ladies even if he settles with the slim lady. So that level of honesty for a person to have with themselves, I think that it is important that you know what you need, you know what you like, you know what you want, in life, because nobody marries someone they are not attracted to. So for you to go in for someone you are attracted to or things that attract you, it matters, but then it shouldn't be the only thing you're looking at. You should look at other stuff as well. And I think that this platform has given us the opportunity to share ideas on that front.
Now, I raised that point because I feel Funny Face's story is sort of like a template for many people today. There are many people who are going through mental health issues, and even though it's not everyone who has gotten to the stage of insanity, people have anxiety, ADHD, and so on. So there are other mental health issues that people are going through, and I feel that one of the major causes is what Funny Face went through. That is marrying the wrong person, or having or marrying buttocks, if you want.
Apostle, I beg to differ.
Marrying buttocks over character,
Yeah.
like you said.
But you made mention that marrying the right person. I believe at the time that he met the lady, she was right for him, because sometimes our circumstance makes what we meet right for the circumstance. Except that with time, if we are still with that situation or that person, there is always changing effects and challenges. And so rather than adjusting to the challenge that comes, so that we make room for those things, we still want to maintain those circumstances that we met from the start. And as human beings, I believe situations and life, cycles actually bring challenges and changes in people. I mean, change is ever going on. Our human life is ever changing almost every time. So I'm not blaming Chemu or Funny Face, but I also believe that if things get to be recurring, because as we mentioned earlier, this is his second marriage, and it may not be same things that have been, happening. It could be similar, and so people change. I mean, that's the basic. People change, and when they are spouses, because that is where there is exception. When they are spouses, we make room for the change, and then we make adjustments, and then we help correct each other so that we stay together. But if at every point in time the change comes and we want to run away, we'll meet it until we are able to handle it, grow, and then move on to the next stage. So I believe as at the time he met the lady, she was right. His circumstance, whatever he was going through his previous marriage and relationship, she was just a perfect person he needed, and decided to be with her. Except he didn't make room for the excesses that would come afterwards, so that he makes adjustment for those excesses. That's what I believe.
So I hear you, but I'm wondering. So are you saying that in that case you can't marry the wrong person? In that case, if I get you right, you're saying that people change, and that is the reason why we have bad relationships. But don't you think there are people that you may get into contact with, or you may start a relationship with, and they are simply not the right person? In other words, you guys are not compatible. Your standards, your values, everything is like polar opposite, and so you're starting from a wrong foundation in the first place. And I'm saying this because even though today we are not focusing on relationship, but statistics show us that majority of people in mental hospitals today, it's as a result of relationships,
bad relationships.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm coming from the position of, if you start off with a bad relationship, then your predisposition to mental health issues is higher.
It's higher.
Even though people do change. If you marry the wrong person, the chances are higher. That's where I'm coming from. And that's why, so if you ask me for my diagnosis of Funny Faces issue, I would say maybe the main thing was bad relationship from the start. JB, what do you think?
Well, is there anything like a bad person? That's what I'll ask.
So not a bad person, but
like a bad fit?
Bad fit or bad relationship.
Okay.
So in his case, very nice buttocks, but probably different values. And so my message to somebody watching could be, maybe find values, not buttocks. I get something.
I get you. But if I could recall what Smart said, you mentioned that it's alleged that the lady too was being married,
was not too faithful.
So then that one, it
boils down to what I'm saying. So
Oh, okay,
it
so
was
that's
the
where
first
your
one.
reservation
It was the
is.
first wife,
one.
rather, the police
Yes,
one.
it was the
second
first
one.
wife.
Okay.
So this one, it was after the children came in,
Mhm.
and you see that is why I'm saying circumstance changes. When women give birth, a lot of changes happen,
Happen.
Mhm.
a lot, and the children were too.
Yeah.
And I mean, having one child is a story, having two is another. And I don't want to say Chimu Funny Face isn't wealthy, but probably well, there are challenges. There may be challenges that came to his status and who he is, and the children that have come in now. So that is where the whole genesis of the problem came in, because they have 3 children. They don't just have after the twins. They had
another.
Yeah.
so it means that all these things came as a result of when the children came in. And those are situational changes that come with having a partner. That is why I was saying that with Chemu, probably he was supposed to have adjusted or look well. We do change. On the norm, a woman without a child, we change. So when these things comes in, we should make room for these things that come in. And you see, when we expect these sort of adjustments and understand, don't even understand, just be considerate in the changes that come with these things. And then it is not forthcoming for the person that is supposed to adjust and help, because you two are in it together. Then it means that, okay, so I've had enough, let me go. And then, you know, us women, sometimes we use our children against our partners. And so if they know where your tenderness and your love and care is, that is where we will try to hit you most, especially if there are things that we shouldn't, like we're expecting, or you are supposed to have done that you didn't do. So I want to believe if the woman was denying him access to the children, there is something that was lacking. I don't want to make all excuses for the lady, because it's both sides. But and it has always been him not having access to the children, him not having access to the children. Chemo, this is it. I want to believe that he should know why he's being denied access to the children.
The financial issues?
I can't tell to it.
But who gave the custody to the mom? Strictly, I didn't follow the source. I don't know.
But it's by the law, because the children are underage. It is strictly to the mother. It's when
I thought they go to court.
No,
and
no,
then
no,
the
no.
judge
When
will
it-
determine
when it's-
if you're a bad mother.
No.
You're not allowed to stay with you.
we are not saying she's a bad mother. That
No,
is-
I'm just saying you are making it
But-
look like from the get go. Once you are the mother, legally.
Oh yeah, at a point.
You have to prove you can take care of
No,
the kids.
at
You
a
have sound
point.
mind. You
No.
don't abuse
No,
substances
wait.
before the court.
No, at a point. There is an age limit where the court comes in, and if you're a bad mother, the child will be taken away from you. When a child is little, it is with you.
what's your point? So
The point I'm trying to make is that she may not be a bad, with a bad character, but it was a change. It might have been the changes that came with the situation of, because that is why I was correcting. It was the first wife that was promiscuous. That was what we allegedly promiscuous, and that was what brought about the breakup. This lady's incident, it was when they were together, they were no longer together, he wasn't having access to their children. And so, because before the children came in, it was all rosy and nice, we weren't hearing stories.
Yeah.
It was after the children came in that all these things were unearthed. So yeah, it was, I believe it was situational.
you made a very good point.
Okay, so we're talking about two females here.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one is the thick one that is bringing all the rest?
Vanessa
out?
is the thick one.
The first or the
But
second?
even
The
second.
The second.
The second.
The first one was a police officer.
Yeah.
The lady who called him is a 1 minute man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they weren't having children.
Yeah, they
so
weren't.
it was when he met this one, then
God,
all of a sudden the woman
he had
conceived
kids,
and then twins.
you know.
So it was
Yeah.
all rosy and nice.
So I think, to be fair, what you're saying is it's not only when you're in a bad relationship, but sometimes situations, you can be in a very good relationship and situations can get you to get into a state that you don't desire. And also, I think, to be fair, it's not only the ladies. We can't blame only the tops.
Entirely,
We
yes.
should also blame the broadcast.
Yes.
And
the Johnny Bravo.
so
Six
not for
feet.
thoughts, but Bravo.
We don't have muscles, we are suffering.
Now you're own.
So fair enough. Observing, what do you think?
So I always want to look at it from the point of when people discuss their issues with the world, especially where they stand. Someone like Funny Face, if you listen to the interview he granted Andy Dusty, he was talking about the fact that he was someone who, people called him the children's president, and he loved kids, he loved being around kids, and having his own kids and not having access to them was like one of the biggest blows he ever experienced. And so when people get to share their issues, you hear the commentary, though social media has come to stay, you hear the commentary and you begin to think that, are people really being considerate of people's plight, what they are actually going through in their private life? Regardless, this person has a public life. Yes, that's true. But then there are certain things you and I sitting here will never know about the relationship. Yeah, and there is no way we can know.
Yeah.
And whatever that went on between the two of them, like Lucy mentioned, at the early stage, everything was fine. Everything was going on well. Nobody knows what triggered what for the two of them to get to this point. Because this is clearly a lady that brought him joy. He was perceived to be a man who couldn't bear kids. And now this lady showed him some way, somehow, that Charlie, you can score goal.
In 2 minutes,
In 2 minutes, he has 2 children.
2 for 2.
So,
DNA, everything.
yes,
check.
everything check. Everything check.
All I was saying,
Everything
when
check.
I there's not yet.
But everything
Hey,
check
bruh.
on this level.
I
So
know,
it was, for me, it was supposed to be a time where he was experiencing some kind of joy. We all saw how he was over the place about Ella and Bella here and all that. So we were all expecting him to be very stable until a point where the kids were taken away from him because he was deemed unstable because of the
that's why I
issues.
came in with a court issue.
He was deemed unstable actually
Of course.
before the kids were taken away from him.
So then it wasn't the kids' absence that caused the instability. He was
No.
unstable before the kids.
Yes, because there were some financial issues, like
Okay.
Lucy mentioned, some
Financial
financial
pressure.
Yes, issues started coming up. Well, he interpreted them as exploitation. And
Children are expensive.
yeah, I know they are. That's what I keep telling you all the time. And I told Reverend Francis, Apostle, I told you in the previous season that 700 cities will take care of children this time.
This year is even worse.
This year's worse. This year there's even worse. So these are all the things that people consider, you know.
But I don't get it. If he said he had a Range Rover, he had a
Exactly.
Yeah, but you see,
Yes.
but also for you know the truth of the matter is a gift is different from something you use your money to buy.
Yeah, definitely.
So there are people who can
But
gift you
say
something.
if you have a Range Rover, you need to have some kind of money to be able to maintain.
Maintain.
That is when someone is the one financing that lifestyle.
That's the
So
point
if
of
that
taking
person is
away.
not forthcoming,
So with Funny Face, with all his celebrity and all that, he wasn't.
He was making money,
There
but
are
then
some celebrities that are broke. I mean,
Very.
the fact that they are celebrities doesn't mean they have the money.
they have money.
Okay, they are just known.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
there's
they
a
are
difference
broke.
between you being
Known.
And
I
then-
think
really
he was
wealthy.
surviving on deals
Yeah,
and
and
contracts
if
and,
it
all
wasn't
that.
coming, yes.
Yeah.
But for me, if somebody gifted me
A Range Rover.
a Range Rover, I won't take it today. I won't take it.
Yes, but
So
it's different.
either I'll sell it
True.
and then buy something.
Something,
I can
yeah.
maintain.
But there are a lot of things that come to play. People say yeah, Chawadi Ayanton.
Eh, really?
Oh, massa.
Having
If you are
a-
going-
Oh.
But also, he also has those small cars that he uses.
Yes.
He has. I
Yes.
mean, the recent
Yeah, he has
accident
the
was
small-
with a Hyundai Atos or something. One of those small cars. So he also has the small cars. I think he has about 4 or 5. I don't know if I'm
Yes, he
I'm
does.
not wrong. I
Yeah,
could
he
be
has about,
corrected.
and I think 2 of them were.
So
gifts.
where is this celebrity broke thing coming from all of us? This phenomenon of
Most
But
of his
it's-
deals were
Yes.
withdrawn from.
because of the
withdrew from it.
instability.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It works. It works
Yeah.
sometimes. You know, in the space of this media representation, brand influencing, ambassadorialship, and all that, it comes with a lot of ties. Some people have a one-off deal, and that's just it. They might not go back to review the contract to
Yeah.
sign anything again,
Yeah.
and so the fame could be short-lived.
Okay.
And there are ones that have their contract reviewed almost
Yeah,
every
sure,
year,
yeah.
and they have money coming in
Oh,
almost
yes,
every year.
from other sectors.
And people perceive someone who comes on TV as Charlie, it'll go on for you. You know,
Small to be frank that I
you
came
know.
is
In
like,
fact,
Charlie,
that particular.
oh,
Oh, really?
like serious.
Small to be frank.
Yeah, that was small to be frank.
Oh,
Please,
can you
don't be
imagine?
But why you say it's small to be
No, when I
frank?
say to you,
I've got to be
I
frank.
mean like small as in a platform. Like
Ah, the
I just came in
appearance.
halfway, like not like in a full shirt. It's like, oh, Charlie, right now. Because it doesn't come with a dear brand endorsement.
Yeah.
You understand? I think it's perception in Ghana, and these are not the pressures.
They're precious, and so that's where it comes from. In fact, the gift was from a show he did.
Yeah.
I think he did a show, and when they closed, the car he brought was so bad. So Adebayo stepped out,
it was like,
saw him, and he was like, your car is not
okay.
starting. And he said, yeah, it's not starting. He said, then I'll get you a car. So like you're saying, you may reject the car. But someone else looking at the status,
Yeah.
he felt like it
He
would
needed-
be a symbol to his brand.
Yeah.
It's
Driving
okay.
a Range Rover.
It's okay.
Uh-huh.
You just work
It's
to
a-
maintain it.
How
Yeah.
to maintain
So
it.
I asked that question because I'm wondering, so with all that, the Range Rover, Porsche, and other vehicles, you talked about financial issues.
Yeah, financial issues.
What kind of financial issues could he be facing if you have?
if you have a Porsche, you should be able to pay school fees.
Yes.
Presume.
And
These were gifts.
it's a gift.
But
It's a gift.
Isn't there a dichotomy here?
No,
You
but
drive a Porsche,
No, wait.
but you come back
Wait,
come to
I
tell us.
understand that, like a smart said,
Uh-huh.
it's a gift. But you see, sometimes we forget, like Apostle rightly, you have been gifted something. It is you to decide whether to use it, because some gifts are a liability,
True.
and cars are liabilities.
yeah,
Definitely.
From get go.
They can be.
they can be.
If you don't have the
The-
means to maintain
No,
them,
or you are
Apostle-
not using
Car
it
can be-
commercially.
I
Yes,
mean-
exactly.
Okay, fine. Even that, people are using commercial cars, but they are still.
You know.
Yes, and so I think I don't want to decide for Funny Face, but I believe he could have made choices that would have helped him even use the gift that was given to him
Leverage,
to
yeah.
generate an income.
So is it that he wasn't taking care of the kids at all?
No,
No, he was.
Kind of swati, I ever
He was. He was.
So he was taking
Yeah,
care of
he
the
was taking care of
But
the
the
kids.
lady's problem was what exactly?
So like I said, there are certain details
we may
You
not.
are not
we
privy
may
to.
not know.
Okay.
We may not know. But my point is, people have their lifestyles being financed by other people. And sometimes when that plug is no more there, we get to see your true self. And that is what happens to most people, even in the space where we are in. We talk about life and also talk about celebrity lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so you can see someone doing very well and they are actually follow back. And you know what a follow back is. They just follow the one that actually has the
That's
money.
it.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
they are not necessarily the real people controlling the money. They are just people that are around the rich people.
As a career down.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I saw, if you ask me, I saw Funny Face life to be someone whose big push was from Adebayo. Because, so like a second car, for instance, Adebayo asked him to go to his house and choose any car of his choice and take you home. So, so that's, you get me.
His choice.
And if you
The
know,
guy made a very
Interesting.
choice.
Because a Porsche is
no,
for a certain
yeah. So
income
then,
range.
but then he may not read it as that. The reason I say this is because even me, sometimes I go for meetings, and people say, "You should be driving this car by now." You get it?
Based on
That's the kind of projected pressure
I think that that's a
on
level
you.
have.
That smart Charlie.
So
the-
people's
Charlie,
expectations.
people's
Yeah.
expectations on you, and so there are times where I have been to a meeting and a person is like, Charlie, like you take this car, calmer, like we close the deal.
Yeah.
So there are people in town today who are going for meetings with
Renting.
rented cars just to close deals.
Everybody
Also,
will
what-
watch you and say, "Hey,
do you get my point?
Oh,
So I was in a compound.
Yes.
I was in a
So the
compound
contrast-
somewhere in La
yeah,
Paz.
so the contrast-
So the contrast was big. You know, people are expecting, no, this guy is on TV. This guy is on radio. Hey, smart. Charlie morning shows, Easy FM. But at a point, okay, at a point, I realized that, like, the money wasn't coming. Okay, the money wasn't coming. I had to take a decision because
So
my
you were in a compound house.
But
they came to pick you
they
up.
came, they dropped me off also in an F-150. Not just pick me up. Double pressure. You have a found in a service.
You know when they pick you, that's not just a
Yeah,
colleague is going
yeah,
your way. No, it's
They
like
drop
Shamo
you off
Johnson. But
in
when
the
they
same
drop you
F-150.
off, it's like Charlie.
So you know when you experience that lifestyle sometimes, and the company I worked for, they also owned hotels.
The company you worked for.
Yeah, I worked for in those days. They owned hotels. And so most of our meetings, strategic meetings, were all in these big hotels. It was one of the top hotels then in Ghana. And so you are going to these places, you are posting pictures at these places. So, but then the remuneration that came at the end of the month, that doesn't correspond. And so I had to take a decision. So that's why I'm keen into what Lucy is saying. There are certain decisions, they may be difficult at the infantile stage, but you need to take them for your own mental health. Because you see, when they offer you a certain lifestyle, you may enjoy it. But there are certain, your friend is saying, contract conditions where you cannot do other stuff. Let me give you an example. The company I work for, they own the bank.
The company you work
I worked for.
Worked.
I worked.
Okay.
Worked for. They own the bank. And so there was no way we could have business with another bank. Those were the terms and conditions. They own the hotel. You couldn't work with another hotel. They owned an IT company.
Oh my God.
And so you are boxed in a space, and you cannot take new deals because the company has almost every other business in a different industry. So you now have to take a decision for yourself. Will I be here forever?
No.
Or I can change? When I changed, it was difficult. I stayed home for close to 5 months. My parents took care of me. I had to walk sometimes from La Paz to Akutema to eat from my parents' place and walk back. Seriously, and so that was a very dark moment for me. Moving from a TV personality, a radio personality that almost everyone knew, to a point where I was on the street every day with a brown envelope in my hand looking for another job. Then people see it and like, hey, smart. But then naturally they could tell you. So I believe strongly that in the space of these things, when things start hitting you, the good ones, you must begin to take certain decisions. Look at your life some years from then. Look at your life sometime like years from now, and ask yourself, would I be proud of this particular decision if I am to stay? I stayed in that company for 4 years and nothing changed in my life. Nothing. You get it? So when I see the pressure,
and you've been on To Be Frank.
And I've been on To Be Frank for
for
less than 3 months.
And I subscribers on TikTok.
You know?
Sharp.
So when the pressure comes,
But don't you think, observer? So in your case, I don't think it's. I'm sure this is 1 in 1,000.
Yeah.
Belonging to a company that has businesses in almost every single. But even with that, don't you think you could have been wise to take advantage of that platform? So you were on TV. That's a platform.
Yeah.
A platform that not everybody could have.
Yeah.
Couldn't you have done other things to sustain yourself? And we're saying this all in context of the Funny Face situation.
Yeah.
How Adebayo gave him a car, gave him money, gifts, and things like that. And at the end of the day, his lady was complaining or allegedly complaining like he was probably not doing enough.
Yeah.
And we are saying that he probably didn't take advantage of the opportunities or the platform that he had. And it sounds
so
like your story is also similar.
My season there, I always tell people I am grateful for the capacity I built while I was
and
there.
the platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not just capacity.
No, yes, and the platform. So, one, I veered into MCing from that company because I was doing lecture series, conferences, and whatnot. In fact, I only started doing weddings recently. I was a face known for only conferences, workshops, trainings, forum, and those corporate settings, business breakfast meeting. For the wedding setting, it was just recently. So for the platform and also for the contacts, some people I met alongside while on TV, I built all that. And till today, I can tell you till today, there are people in my contact list that I met, in 2014, 15, 16 when I was on TV.
So you should have discerned your season of abundance and your season of
No, so you are not getting the point. It was not a season of abundance. It was a mirage of breakthrough.
Yeah.
Apostle, you are not understanding me.
Perception.
See,
not reality.
I can actually say the salary on it, but it's because for purposes of let me just not say. But I'm saying that the money you were taking and the lifestyle that came with the position you had was not corresponding. They were like huge disparity, a very huge one. Okay, so imagine you having a particular lifestyle from Monday to Friday, and Saturday morning you are having a big reality. That me and my life. It's not what was just yesterday. So you had to take the decision whether it was okay for you to still stay there.
But
that's the decision I took.
Apostle, I also like to say that probably around that time, his period of abundance was the incubation time because of the various organization and platform incubated in that, he had the opportunity to grow himself. Through
Yes, that's what I meant
So
by
he
capacity.
has admitted that, but I'm saying to him that it's not only that. It's not only the capacity he built, but also the platform, the opportunities he got. So he probably could have leveraged that to make himself better once he was out of that company. And I'm saying that still back to the funny.
But I did, because the next place I went, I used my portfolio from my previous company. Yes, so I did.
So you can only be grateful.
I am talking about decisions here because we mentioned their lifestyles. So I have had the opportunity to see people walk into the studio and out, especially with young people who want to be broadcasters. And I've seen people who, when given an opportunity on air, sometimes even radio, just radio, and no one is seeing you, and all of a sudden they stop coming in the public transport. They change where they eat, and this is the point I'm making. All of a sudden, certain things begin to change, and I know that even me in my state, I take more than you. Like, so you are taking less than I am, but I am not changing the lifestyle. So there are people who, and these contracts sometimes are one-off. They are just one-off. They are not. If you are lucky and blessed and graced and favored, you can have it coming almost all the time. There are people who have signed just one contract and it has been it for their career. That's it. They've never had anyone approach them again. And there are people who signed only 1, 2, and just that one. And we can talk about Nanama McBrown's issue with Hisense. Though she has worked with various brands, you know, UB, Relaxer is there, and the likes. But when you mention Hisense, it's synonymous to the name. You understand me? And it looks like just that brand rather changed her, but that's not it.
No, taste it all.
She has a plethora of them actually. I can tell you she's on about 12 ambassadorial deals plus. So she's doing quite well. So she comes into a meeting where creative arts are meeting. You are coming there and you feel you need to be at par with her because she drove a Range Rover, customized red, and she's coming. You two feel like, no, I must rent a car. And that's actually the practice today. That's where the pressure comes from. There are a lot of young people who come into the media space, they come into the creative arts space, and because these meetings brings together different stakeholders and other big people, no one wants to be seen ordering a ride when the meeting is done. You understand me? That's where the pressure is. Because after every meeting, it's like, are you driving? Where did you park? And things like that. So if you are not very sure,
are you driving?
You need to size the cars.
Yes.
Sometimes you know where you are parked.
I went to some.
But that car,
I was pitching.
you can't let people see it.
Big car. I was pitching some sport. I went to some head office of some bank. There some posh place, and I met somebody I knew back on campus. And she was the PA to the person who was supposed to broker the deal. Blah. So when he finished, it's like, oh, Charlie, so thank you. See you. We will connect it. And I was descending. Goes, oh, can I go and see you? I was like,
Can we just end it here?
In your office.
Oh,
I will go.
I was straight. It was 8 flights of stairs.
And Minyanko.
Charlie,
this guy came down.
Charlie, go see say I saw up and so
nothing there is like,
details.
you know, that is where the pressure comes. You know, and you know when you speak, also for you said you drive. So when you speak at events and you are done, and they have packages for you.
That's one.
Now you get it. There's a lot of pressure in town.
Please.
Sometimes you are big on the flyer. And your introduction at the auditorium, big, the clap and everything. They pick 2 special ladies to escort you to your car. Please take it to his car. So also for that pressure comes from a lot of places.
Oh my God.
So for funny face issue, at a point I heard him say that all the people that used to help him don't help him anymore.
See, that's the thing.
So that's the thing.
Let's hear
They
from
don't want
Josie.
to be associated with all the issues you're coming with.
But
I mean, they'll be looked at a certain way
How
to
do
have
you-
you on their deal.
How do you mean? No, let him explain.
How do I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, looking at how he was behaving in town, so uncouth sometimes, and I mean, they want you a certain way, to be puppeted a certain way. You know, our life these days, we have to see you in a certain light. Don't be your usual self. You need to man up, chin up, hey, face camera, light action, that mirage, you know. But at the end of the day, it's not your true self sometimes. And in the case of Funny Face, nobody wants to be associated with negative stuff. So I'm thinking that's where they equally were like, we can't be associated with that brand.
The brands or the friends?
No, I'm talking of the brands.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
whom are you blaming?
Well, with the brands, they have their ethic codes and all that. I mean,
So are
per
you,
policy, maybe they might not want that associated.
so you think, are you blaming the brands for his
For?
eventual instability and eventual?
I think they could have stepped in to help. You know,
How,
maybe-
step how help out
I-
because
I-
if the
you,
brand
you said something that I wanted to say something to. You said Funny Face said those that were helping him
I said-
weren't helping him anymore.
Yeah, I said
You
that.
said
Yeah.
that, okay. So, should you be spoon-fed all the time?
And that's my point. That's what I was saying. I was saying that people should discern the 7 years of
True.
abundance and the 7 years of famine. Like in the
probably
case
his
of- like in the
abundance
case of
wasn't
Joseph,
abundance enough.
Oh, Masa. You have Range Rover, you
Probably.
have Porsche, you have all these opportunities.
At the point, I think he had even a party bus or
Oh, he did.
yeah, he
No,
did.
but
So
Adebayo
but
gave
Max
him-
was saying you can have the Porsche,
not to judge
but
him.
your paycheck is not.
No, that's why I
corresponding.
disagree with him.
Exactly.
That's
But-
why I
but
disagree
I-
because you see, if
Ah.
you've had that for, it's a different thing. If you have no say, but this one, somebody has presented you with an option, blank check. Come and pick any car you want, and you know that, Master. Even for I have a small car, small Ford Escape. To fill that Ford Escape, I need about 800 Ghana cedis. So I can imagine
Yeah.
those and
Those
my
type
Ford
of
Escape
cars.
is 1.5 liter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
you
imagine
can
the bigger
imagine
engine.
the bigger engine cars, the thousands of cities,
Yeah.
and I have to fuel my car every
Regularly.
every
Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah.
So if somebody
So
is
you have money.
I'm like, so if somebody is gifting me, that's why I said, if somebody were to give me a Range Rover today,
Yeah.
I would not accept it, or I would accept it, and if I'm free to do with it what I wish, I would sell it.
And
And I'll use the money
No.
because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to receive a gift that you can't maintain. And like Lucy was saying, some gifts are actually liabilities. So if you can't maintain what you have been given, don't accept it as a gift. That's my position. So in the case of Funny Face, I think with a blank check in front of you, if you know you can't maintain it, find a way around it. Or yes, find a way around it, or take advantage of what you have been given. Like Observing was saying, he said there was a particular deal that he could have closed, but because of the vehicle he was in, he couldn't. So if I can't maintain it, then I know that okay, this car I can use it maybe once a year. I should maximize my use of it. That one time that I'll
Then what
deploy.
observing?
I don't know if you
Because
but-
you are quoted. Then what observing rather says then justifies what Funny Face did. If the type of car made you to lose the deal, then he chose the type of car that will make him win deal.
You gotta
That's
make
what I'm
him
saying.
close the deals.
Close
Yes.
deals.
So what then?
So my
Why
point-
is it
then
not
he shouldn't
closing
be in
deals?
financial problems.
Exactly.
That's my
So
that's
he
my
couldn't.
There's a catch.
So,
Yeah.
but also Josie mentioned that sometimes these companies also begin to pull back when they see certain things about you.
No, but it's in the contract. Usually.
Yeah,
If
I
they
get
are
you.
his- I mean,
I get you.
But I said the certain things came after the fact. So after he
He
started
had
having
had
the
help,
yeah,
the human help.
The
Yes.
people pulled,
Yes.
yeah, they pulled their endorsement deals and stuff like that. And at a point, I don't know if it was the relapse or he started blaming some of the fellow comedian acts who he had, given a stage to, who had badmouthed him to other corporate organizations and all that. And so it became like a whole big conversation that what really happened to Funny Face, because he granted interviews where he was saying people tell other people, you know, the kingmakers in the industry, that, oh, the contract way there, don't give it to, you know, funny face. He will mess you up and things like that. And he felt like just when he had come out of the psychiatric, people should rather help him out.
Nobody wants to
But
risk it.
so
That's
for
But,
him,
but we can help you without giving you endorsement deals because we can't check your stability in terms
Just-
of
no, but you
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
these people are not running salary jobs. I'm coming to.
Oh, okay.
These
That is
people
the
are not
nature of
running
how
salary
they
jobs.
earn.
The nature of
How-
their art,
it's
it's either you are on stage or you are working with a brand for whatever purposes, whether promotional purposes or ambassadorial purposes. So some of them live solely on these monies that
and,
come in.
and now that you mention is where either you are on stage, you
Yeah.
see, it also comes to where you are, right? And it still boils down to how he was supposed to have maximized the opportunity given to him by the persons. I'm not even talking about the corporate institutions, the individual persons.
Yeah.
Because these corporate institutions look at you on the stage to give you the ambassadorial deal.
True.
Which means that you are frequently being seen
Mhm.
and you are working.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not so much a follower of him, so I
Yeah.
don't know how often he even tried to stage his own comedy show.
I think he had his annual festival, the FFF.
It is an annual thing.
Yeah.
What happened to mid-year? What happened to quarter?
But he was on this 2000 TV3.
Yeah, so I
series
think that
structure.
to be fair, I'm not holding brief for Funny Face. To be fair, I think that the comedy industry in Ghana is now picking up greatly after OBs and the likes started,
Yeah.
you know, putting up like series and episodes of.
Yes.
So they are
So-
doing Friday nights, they are
Yeah.
doing
Yeah,
Saturday
always
nights,
something.
and now they are even forming a team.
Yeah.
Let's
You
not
find
digress,
yes.
So the point is,
Oh yes,
The
I'm
point
I'm,
I'm
I'm
try-
coming to that. So you find the Lexis and the OBs and the this Professor Lionel and all consistently staging at clubs, pubs, and all that. And sometimes what they try to do is that they do other spots, like not just one space. Because if you want to do just one space, it costs a lot. Let's not forget the financial commitment aspect. If these people, for him, when he came out, he felt like, no, I gave some of these guys a platform. And he even had a big beef with Bismarck the Joke because he felt like, at a
Yeah,
point, I
that
gave you the
was-
platform, and I'm thinking that now that I'm out, you should also be extending the helping hand. But it was not coming. Let's not forget. And that is why I said I agree with Josie, because some people would not finance a project because KB is on it. Let's not make that mistake. So it
You
can
mean
also take
browning
a
pie?
yes, it will also take a toll on him that oh, Funny Face is on the project.
Nah.
Nah, I don't think our brand wants to associate with him. So that friend who you are expecting help from may be pushed to go ahead with the project without you.
Yeah.
True.
And it may not necessarily be his problem.
Yeah.
Okay, he needs the job. He cannot say, oh, because you are my friend, I'll also not take the contract. So will I turn down 5 corporate organization 300,000 Ghana cedi sponsorship
Because my
package
friend isn't part of
because
it.
my friend is not part of it?
Hell no.
So some of these things hit them. They hit them quite hard because in their minds you should be loyal to me and not the corporate companies. But it doesn't work like that.
So that
We
It
are
doesn't
all
work
be
like
broke
that.
at the same
So
Exactly.
the pressure gets
One has to be
worse.
strong.
so financial pressure.
Financial pressure. It gets very, very worse.
But the lesson I'm drawing from this is that sometimes the financial pressure, it's our own doing.
Yes, that's the point I made.
Lifestyle.
Not to sound like I'm judging Funny Face, but I think
That's even normal life.
True.
many people are getting themselves into mental health.
No, I think it's an
because-
ecosystem where you thrive the more
You fake it.
You piggy bank
True.
on the
Gross.
it is what it is. Like I don't want to I don't want to pick on certain people, but like for example,
So speaking of financial pressure, observing.
Mhm.
Speaking of financial pressure, financial pressure leading to mental health
Mhm.
issues. It is my prediction that in a few years
We'll
time,
have more-
We'll have more mental health
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, we will.
So it will happen.
so as a society, we should rather call the shots. Like especially the youth. It's like Charlie. You can't say a man look fly. But now let's come back to the table. Let's define fly. Because it's like Charlie now people are stealing money to go and
Yeah.
My
And
definition-
small girl with big God.
fine.
You
I
know?
get it. Small, Yes, but it's like we said, you guys, we want our girls to be careful. Now this BBL surgery, money
It's
to
putting
Yeah.
pressure
So
on
now let's all come back again. You see, let's reason together. There's a Bible scripture. Let's
Come, let us reason together.
Yes.
Isaiah 180.
Until we go to heaven or whatever you believe in. Lucy, when I'm saying I want your skin to toss. So buy 400 CD for me. Charlie, I didn't know. And see, economy needs to know. So now if I see sports, I'll agree that Charlie. You know what I'm saying? Like, Charlie, let's be real here. Let's be real here.
I get your point.
Exactly.
I get your point.
We said every guy should have a degree before we marry them. Now, cost of first degree is some way. Okay, guy, Charlie, can you read? Yes. Can you type? Yes. Can you? Okay, Charlie.
Can you
mommy.
count your own money?
Aha. So, mommy, Charlie, never say graduate, but they are quiet no for now. The way it has do no. Or bro for to me kind to more shower and so
In English.
Okay. So you go to your parents and be like, oh, this family we marry only graduate. But now the cost of financing a degree and stuff like that, it has become a challenge. But mommy, that guy, by the grace of God, he's a Christian, he's correct, he can read, he can count, he can read and write. So people accept it as it is. The degree didn't happen, but the marriage has to happen.
So in your view, the solution to
It's a let's reevaluate the values. The assumption 20 years ago was that if you have a degree, you are wise, you can take care of a home. So every woman will prefer.
You can get a job.
But then now we realize, oh, those who even do street stuff are so kind.
Those who dance on the
they are
street are
making it.
making
They
Yeah.
are
money.
making
so,
it.
so let's
On a
not
daily.
lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's reevaluate. So now when you are a mother and you are telling your daughter to look out for traits of a potential husband or head or whatever, look at somebody who can bring the money, not somebody who brings a set.
Is that the only
That's
thing that brings the financial
Pardon
crisis?
me?
Is that the only thing that
No,
brings
I'm using
Bad
education.
decisions are also.
I'm using education as an example. At first, I use looks.
Yeah.
I'm saying that we are the society. We brought the pressure to our
So
wife.
you can still take
We
it
can
away.
still take it away. Now, if a girl is not wearing born straight or born
Straight.
we should accept that Charlie Nisika someone yet. When the economy pitch you wear so if she's doing tekuma or any funny braid hair, let's accept that she's still pretty.
Yeah.
And there's something I realized with the West.
So we should deceive ourselves.
No,
No,
should
he's
come
saying that we
back
should
to
rather
the
change
basics.
the narrative.
the narrative, like with the
so-
West, with the like America. If they don't have permanent friend, they have permanent interest. If today, the Arabs start aligning their interests with what American,
They will go
American-
with them.
If not Korea, that is how we should be. But in black people, it's like we have to impress somebody. Hey, what will my uncle say? What will my church people say? Like, Charlie, we have to survive. So let's come back. Let's reevaluate what we call beauty, what we call flex, what we call swag.
What we call success.
Success. Let's redefine it. Yeah, we're here. We were from the same man. If the history is we were cavemen, then we came to whatever, and then we came to skyscrapers.
But don't you think that's just a topical solution or a topical treatment of the issue? Because from what you're saying, if we just keep redefining things and the root cause
There's
is
a root
still
cause.
there, we'll keep adjusting ourselves.
Which
As
root
the
cause?
economy
Root cause
is
will
getting
be
worse.
from
But
the
then,
whole-
but then, what Funny Face is dealing with?
Africa, the continent has financial issues.
Yes.
It's a continent.
But we are borrowing Western values, and the Western values is financed by their economy or by their middle class.
Yeah.
So when you are taking a girl to a dating place, and it has to be maybe $400
Like you be.
average, maybe average.
10 years ago, or some years ago, some years ago, the same Western standards,
What's that?
we didn't have issues.
No, but then
It
he's
wasn't
saying,
It wasn't
now.
far
Apostle,
advanced.
I agree
It wasn't
with
like
him.
that. It
I
would be
agree with
frank.
him because you see, the number of recreational centers we have today and how much it costs to have a good time there is a little higher than before.
Yes.
And the people that access these places are no more the people that are accessing the places today. At first, if someone needs to eat at a top restaurant, it was for the elite, and that was it. But now that is not the case. The narrative is that if they don't take you here, they don't value you.
So they can't take care of your kids.
what
when you
KB
marry
is
them.
saying is that let's change the narrative. We
We
said it, but we lie. Now, now the way the pressure is going, Charlie, it has do, no.
way it
It's
is,
very, very difficult. So you know, I think just this morning I was talking to a friend, and he wants to move.
You
But
mean
he's got-
Japa?
yeah, no, he wants to move from his
Where?
current place
Okay.
to a new place, and he was telling me that, Charlie, bro, at the set house for like 2 months now, no house is below 1,500.
Yes.
And it's putting the mind in a bad state.
That's what-
Yeah.
So to you, what is the solution to this? Brother?
What is the solution? I think it's a policy issue.
So that's what I'm saying. That KB is saying that we should redefine what we.
Let
see
me
as
defend it,
success. But I
but
think
let me plug in with it and let me redefine. So in this case, when first most the average Ghanaian, their parents were in compound houses.
Yeah.
Even now, most Ghanaians grew up in compound houses.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it was as if when you're with of the compound, Charlie slow, was too slow. Like if you are telling your friend that you met a guy who likes it, let me quit him. Say place you going for.
Hey,
No,
it's not
maybe,
there.
let me.
Okay.
Sukura.
Okay.
The Petra Star causes Sukura. But the truth is that does he have portable water to bath, brush his teeth, eat a healthy meal, come and meet you, go to his work? That is the most important. He can be in East Legon, but you lose all his salary to appear good. So now the narrative is if you want a guy, just make sure he's in a place where he's getting portable water, he's eating well, dressing well, and doing what he's supposed to. Not necessarily he being in East Legon, because we know people who are in East Legon and they are not Dadabi.
Yeah.
Come on, then they change.
Because I think that sometimes the pressure, like you're saying, the projected expectations from friends and loved ones also is high. You know, your friends, like
And
you're
the
saying,
reason why I won't go to policy yet is this is a youth space. This podcast is for the youth.
Okay.
We the youth, we define things that our
Yeah.
parents, like we create stuff
We
that our
change.
parents or government. I don't know how to. We
first
create our
change
own
it.
world.
We
We were here and it's like if you don't, we all decided, if you don't pansag, own pure to fisa, we need
you are not flex.
It didn't take government, it didn't take our parents, it didn't take pastor, it didn't take prophetic, whatever. We are like, Charlie, or swaggy kakra, or those, or pie boy, and or sporting with kakra. Just say, yeah, open. So we the youth, let's
Change
go
the
back to the
narrative.
basics.
Yeah.
Who is the right guy? The right guy is somebody who is responsible, who is gentle, he can take care of him if there's a seed or there are kids. It doesn't mean he has to stay in Trasago, drive a V8.
Hey, no, it's Benz. So Benz is the statement now. You've not heard
What is
that.
it?
Hey,
Okay,
you have not
engine.
heard.
No, V8 engine.
Hey,
let me
you have not-
redefine
no, V8, yeah,
engine.
bro.
No, you can have a saloon
It's
car
too
with
big.
V8. Maybe
What the one
but
ground
see,
level,
V8 engine
but it
means
can
that-
do.
No, there are saloon cars that have V8 engines.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
V8
get it.
as in
No,
V8
I'm just
engine.
saying.
So Apostle, we the youth, we are flexible. We are not like our parents. We are flexible like that. Now people are ready to japa. Go and eat noodles for 6 months. Or be a fufu na krante no, but because of Charlie.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's like we the
awesome.
youth, we are more cognitively malleable than our parents. So let's redefine. And I'm saying, let's what's the scripture again?
Come let us.
What is the
together.
actual
Isaiah 118.
So the youth, if you are listening to me,
Come
today,
let us reason together.
Emma, you are yes, per way. Mumbo te kuma mai. Emma, yes, you per Kempinski. This is uncle Tina last farmers. And let's be happy. Amani idea. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. I love it. I love it.
Hey, you still
Hey,
want?
hey,
I'm right here.
No, because
What don't you get?
so I get you, but
But-
I feel that's just a starting point. But it's
That's a root
it's
cause.
still very topical.
Yeah.
It's a peripheral something because 10 years to come,
Yeah.
if things in the African system are not going well, what else are we going to compromise on?
But like in 10 years, if we are practical, as if we have,
so-
if we have
so-
Isaiah
so-
118,
so-
in 10 years we'll be okay.
No, so
because
we-
right now we are not. We are
so-
living beyond our earning
So
ability.
we've redefined our standards. We've changed
So,
our.
so now our disposable income will increase. What we spend on non-essential.
No. And let me give you a practical.
Give me a
example.
practical, then I'll rebut.
So, so on Monday, I met a certain gentleman. Okay, I met a certain gentleman from. He's one of the big guys in one of the major automobile industries.
You define big.
Big.
Rich,
Big. No,
influential,
big.
Big.
In
pandemic.
the
Big as
industry.
big.
So the industry is big, and this
Like the
guy-
giants in the automobile industry.
And this gentleman he's a big guy in at least in his company. And his company is a major automobile
Okay.
company. Now this guy came to me and I was asking how things were going in his company, and he was telling me he's getting ready to also jackpot.
Imagine.
He's getting ready to jackpot
Wow.
because
Even him.
he came around 2020. That was around the COVID season, and at that time, to get a car, a small car, penny car with $30,000, you could get there. In those days, $30,000 was about 100 and something thousand. Okay, but 4 years later, according to this guy, he says you need for the same car, exactly
spec.
the same car,
now you're looking at almost 400,000 cedis.
As opposed to 100.
As opposed to 100 and something. So his point was, businesses are
Yeah,
folding
folding
up.
up.
His company is folding
People
up.
can't buy anymore.
The youth are
Yeah.
they're getting so
Pressured.
discouraged and
Yeah.
depressed,
Yeah.
getting demotivated because you have to literally sell yourself,
To survive.
soul,
True.
sell everything. Not only to be able to afford that car, which is just $30,000, you have
even
to sell
that.
yourself.
Today, Toyota Vitz is 90,000.
Can you imagine?
$9,000.
No, Ghana
Cedis.
cedis. Toyota Vitz.
And that one cries.
That one cries,
I'm sure you can buy it like this. So my point is, so even if you adjusted your standards and all that,
It doesn't change.
it doesn't change. It doesn't change this.
Okay.
It doesn't change.
That's why I mentioned the policies.
What is the equivalent? That 30,000. What is the equivalent for a Kantanka car?
Hey, it's expensive.
Kantanka is.
You say
Kind
Ghana
of.
when you say you don't want to quote fact.
But Kevin,
Fact, if you don't know, we can
Kantanka is
Google.
more
I'm not saying
expensive.
it's cheap.
Okay.
Comparatively,
Yeah.
So
you see, what I'm pushing for is
Because the
assuming-
30,000
I'm
is
pushing
a
for
brand new.
radicalism.
But
Because
even,
you see-
even if so,
Mhm.
even if we
Or
went-
these
even
China-
if we went to Kantanka, assuming it's even $15,000, how many
Young people.
Yeah.
Forget young people. How many Ghanaians today can afford $15,000?
Yeah.
Ideally, $15,000 shouldn't be money.
It shouldn't be
True.
big.
It shouldn't be money.
but so is the exchange rate.
And that
So,
isn't changing. That
No,
isn't going back.
is our behavior that is pushing the exchange rate. Everything we import.
I sure it's not a policy issue.
No, it's lifestyle. Anything else we import, anything Ghanaian we don't like.
Can
It
we-
is basic.
can
Look
we-
at the Chinese.
no.
They closed the economy for 30 years. They were eating their own Tujimi, using their own Yawa cars, and now they are number two. The things we have to do to make us comfortable, we don't want to. We are living the facade. And Apostle, every day I've been doing you people were taught. The pastors keep preaching positivity when it is not there. I see in your range, I see you get to. We are not doing the things that will get us to see our range
What does he
over.
have against preachers?
Because in Ghana, preachers are very influential. Because in poor country, people are very superstitious. So you are our go-to people. So when you keep telling us that I see in your range over, when the fundamentals are not right, it will not work. God cannot bless you in a vacuum.
Please, if I'm seeing somebody in a Range Rover, don't tell me I shouldn't tell the person I'm seeing them in a Range Rover.
But you're not seeing what was always saying.
So you see where my problem is. So the problem is that the person feels that God owes them a Range Over. Why it's not coming? Then I'll guess look, I am praying, I am tithing, I'm giving seed, I'm going to account. Why?
That's a different
But
discussion.
no, it is not.
I'll tell you why. It's a different discussion. I thought we shouldn't even go there because there's a
Yeah, we are
place,
digressing.
there's a key role that
We are talking about pressure.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
any form of pressure. Prophecies bring pressure. I see you, a boy is coming to marry. Meanwhile, his boyfriend is a certain carpenter's son who is faithful. But the boy has 3 baby mamas and he's not even ready to marry. But for somebody is telling
The boyfriend will too fine.
it's better than
The boyfriend will boga.
when $7,000 Canadian visa,
You're too much.
Josie.
Josie, tell me what you think. Me and I, whatever you heard, do we need radical solutions for our problems, or we should just wish them away and listen to
what do you
problems?
say we should
I
win?
have a
No,
scripture.
because I'm telling you a practical thing. My
we are
boss is making it
Yeah, I have
it's
a scripture.
unpractical.
So he's reading a scripture to
Yeah,
you.
Me,
okay.
I have a
You're saying it's very
scripture.
peripheral. It's surface level. That's what I'm saying. So
I'm
saying
drilling
there's-
down to
there's
the basics,
solutions
but you're
in-
making it sound ridiculous because it is not yet practical. That's why you are making, for example.
So
if
you're
we-
saying that the kind of TVs we use at home, the kind of furniture we use at home, the kind of
there are
lifestyle-
alternatives
lifestyle.
that
So
will
we
fit
should
the average
adjust.
Ghanaian.
We should
But
adjust.
when I come to a house and it is, I wanted to mention something, but I said,
Like if it is a hunchback.
it's no, if your TV is not Samsung, it's a Peugeot.
It's
Hey,
not for-
they be your bumper alpha and require some. You see, the assumption is, are we have power? You should have a Samsung 64. But
Serious.
hey, you the only
But how
one.
many people own a 64 inch? How many people really own
Make your point.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that our messages,
The
our religious
materialism is
messages,
increasing the pressure.
our comparison to Western values, and our work ethics and our ethos and as a people, your attitude towards work, it will not match. If we go to work, we are sleeping, we are late, we close our shops and go and go and pray and all that. What the white people do and the type of treat they give their girlfriends that you and I we stay in Akweta want to give, no, the work they do, the 24-hour economy they run, the way they attack corruption,
the
way
hourly
rates
Payments
they
that
pay
they
them
do,
and then
yeah.
when you see when they see their girls doing hey Jessica, we want some like our girls to do the but we don't do the work that will make us to get the income to make our girls do the
No, but that's why I'm still
when you say it's peripheral, I
I'm
want to
disagreeing.
drill down to you that it is us.
So let me talk.
Okay.
I'm disagreeing with you still
Mhm.
because Charlie, I don't know what. First of all, I don't know what you have against teachers.
That's it.
Oh no. I encourage a lot of people who are not necessarily middle class, who their pastors are like their main person. When you are in like Perez Lighthouse and you are, but I'm talking about the Pieko for no. Every every year what their prophet says, they catch a look like and those so those people, they are more than us. They are the majority of Ghanaians. It's like when you're doing a podcast, when I'm doing programs, there's a way people think Accra is Ghana, Accra is Africa, or Kigali, Nairobi, the capitals is Africa. Yes, mistake me here. So also, we say we like foreign taste.
So let me come.
No, we want foreign taste, but we are not doing the things that the West do to get them what we aspire to do.
So let me come in.
That's why we like prayer. But it will have to be on a practical foundation.
So let me
also have a problem with the priesthood.
So let me come in.
Okay, so defend the priesthood alongside
Okay.
your income.
Since our main issue is we are still talking about pressure that leads to.
And I say some is from the pulpit.
Mental health.
Some is from the pulpit.
Now, what many people don't realize is that America is America today, or America became what it became because of certain things like the Great Awakenings that took place. So the Great Awakenings were periods of revival in America, led by people like Jonathan Edwards, people like Charles Finney. And you look at
you mean the economy
so let me
is
finish.
because of
I'm coming.
Great Awakening.
So let me finish. When you look at a nation like Great Britain, Great Britain became Great Britain as we know it because of people like John Wesley and men like that, John and Charles Wesley and co. They were the ones who were proponents of cleanliness leads to godliness, you know, and things like that. William Wilberforce, who abolished the slave trade and so on. So all these guys who came with a Christian, how do I say?
Perspective of life.
Christian perspective and Christian mindset. They are the ones who changed Europe and changed America. Now, these were people in those days of the Great Awakenings. People would close their shops down and go and pray and come back because they realized that the supernatural assistance was very key. Supernatural assistance was key for them to make progress. And it is through the light of Christianity that the whole world has benefited and the whole world is making progress. Now, when you even go to a country like Japan, even today, in some of the companies, they have entire floors dedicated to deities or the sun god. Because so these are people who still believe in the supernatural and they still have a work ethic. Now the current, what we call the Protestant work ethic, what America adopted, what Europe adopted, it's from the Protestants or Christianity. So people are ignorant when they say, you know, in Africa we are just
when they go to Africa, we preach Umami Ebefo. They preach West ethics. I'm not talking correct.
No, I think what he's saying is that religion and faith has a place.
But the way we practice in Africa is not giving us the awakening they did because they preach the different message that God that they are awakening. The majority of Ghanaians.
Have you heard of the Salem witch trials in America? In those days,
when I say Mami Ebefo, let me explain what I mean.
Let me learn.
Apostle is trying to make me feel like I'm bashing Christians.
No, you want it erased, but it has a strong foundation.
I didn't say it's not erased.
Maybe let me learn. So I'm saying to you that historically, Christianity has played a role that no other faith has played in the world. And progress as we know it today, advancement as we know it today in technology, music, in all the industries, is you owe it to Christianity.
I didn't say Christian, I said bad religious leadership in Africa. I didn't say Christianity.
So if you let me land, so first of all, we are starting from the basis that Christianity is what gave us all these inputs.
Yes.
Now, the things like supernatural manifestations and all that, in Europe they experience that. In America they experience that.
Yes.
Charismatism today, or Pentecostalism today, we credit it to the Azusa experience in the early 20th century. America has been through that period Okay, and today, unfortunately, they've kind of gone off track. So I'm saying to you that Christianity has played a key role in America and Europe and in Africa. You can't throw away the baby and the bathwater. You can't say because of the excesses of some people, then therefore
Everything goes.
this whole
No, that is why I want to correct.
and all that is not-
Wait, I didn't say let's forget. When it got to our turn, instead of preaching work ethics, maybe not the good person. You see, when I have this conversation with people who go to good churches, then I'm always the bad guy. Let's go to places where they are tying people in the church because me say me and they brought that young lady. No educational scholars, nothing. And these things are the indigenous practices of Christianity, not the nice one wedding and your dad and stuff. And those are perfect. But let's tackle the wrong ones and correct it.
But those
The
excesses,
wrong ones
But there are
too many.
excesses in these developed
and they've
nations.
been
too.
there
As well.
for millennia.
The Asians do not. They are not necessarily Christian, but they have good work
They are
ethic.
very
So they are
But they are
but they are
religious.
superstitious. Yes, but their superstition doesn't mean we never made for scabba men done.
But you don't practice it.
Pardon me.
You don't practice
No,
it.
I don't see Chinese calling themselves.
Because you don't live there.
You don't
But okay, how come theirs has broad development? Ours haven't. Not Christianity. They are superstitious.
Christianity
But you
No,
know
Christianity is perfect. I'm a Christian. Let's put that aside. I'm talking about superstition and beliefs. For example, in Ghana, when you want to start something and it becomes big, for Bibi Kwashasi, or the Bibi Shas, watch or the Bibi Ashas, the Chinese food that let me do Glow Food, let me do Uber Eats, and when I get customers, I will blossom. Maybe,
Do you
but
know
in
their
Ghana,
spiritual backing?
Even with them,
if
they
you
have
but
watch-
in
if you
Ghana,
watch
Yes, there are lots of spiritual backing.
but in Ghana, you even talk about Uber Eats and a business
If you
plan.
watch
First
Netflix,
thing, then I'm
if you watch Netflix,
Yeah.
you see that what he's saying.
Sally, there are a lot of spiritual
Sally,
backers.
even
No,
with them,
yes.
Even some of these mobile apps.
I'm not saying there's no spiritual backing. I'm saying how we apply ours and mix it with work ethics. We don't get the results they got.
They do.
That's what I'm saying.
They
to you.
throw
The-
it in
the-
subtly,
I don't-
in and
I'm
out.
not saying
along
they
the-
don't have spirituality. I'm saying how our spirituality plays out is
Maybe
that.
there's a balance. Maybe
Yes,
there's
they
a
balance it well. Exactly, that's the
But
word.
they're still infused anyway.
I want to
A Chinese man,
understand.
remember, a Chinese man has come to Accra. I saw a restaurant. He has his bosom, his everything. But when you talk to him about Uber Eats, he will listen. When you talk to him about Bolt Food, he will. Ghana and he's a man be a on pay bibam pity bibingo and yen and as then Uber.
Have you walked into a Chinese restaurant before?
I've walked into it.
Do you
Before,
see?
Apple.
Do
Their
you see?
stuff.
Do you see?
But they
it?
come to work early.
No, but do you see it?
Yes, but they come to work early.
They do.
I
come
work
to
with Christians.
Uh-huh.
You come late, you still do a quiet time at 10 a.m. And when the company is not doing well, then the CEO say, let's close and go to Atria.
But
But
there
the
are-
Asians will
Those
equally
are
shut
practices
down
that-
and go pray and come back and serve you.
But then they'll work the extra hours.
So
But
To
they'll
cover.
equally fuse
You
it
see,
in.
I
But I'm
agree,
saying that our
agree to
belief-
the- I agree to the extent that yes.
Yes, our beliefs are some way, somehow,
But it's
not.
It's not a result of our
Balance.
beliefs. It's some people who do the wrong thing.
But
Because
there are
in-
too many.
in
There are
Asia-
critical masses.
In Asia that you are talking about,
Mhm.
there are people who also come to work late and they don't do what they are supposed
Yeah,
to
but they are not enough to make the economy not fly.
do. Massa, it's not because of religion that our economy is not flying.
No, I didn't say religion.
It's not because
Beliefs.
of-
Belief
it's
is
not
different
because
from
of-
religion.
There are a lot of bad decisions going on.
I'm talking about belief.
We had
Bad
so-
leadership.
Uh-huh.
We had groups, all right.
No, when it comes to leadership, it's another. Now even leadership
let's
compared
go,
to
let's go,
Africans,
let's go.
who is more serious? Whose leaders are more serious? Your guess is as good as mine.
More
We
serious.
all have democracy, but look at their GDP. Look at our GDP. So it tells you that there are certain things we are not accepting to correct in Africa, and we are wishing it will change, but it will not change. For example, standards of beauty. If we don't redefine standards of beauty to our women, they will continue using chop money to go and do things that we think will call them pretty. But that is not it. BBL. If it doesn't have, she feels it's not pretty enough. But who told you we want to see it? It's a white who don't have the curvy.
Because you are attracted to what you see. And the
So
more you
the
keep
men
seeing
are the
them,
one
that
defining
becomes
beauty
your.
standards now.
That becomes your.
So
it's-
make the link between what you are saying and
Okay, so
mental health issues.
let's come together. Josie,
Yes.
if you don't do a BBL
Yes.
and I don't like you,
Yes.
go to the guy who likes BBL free
Because I
females.
have seen you admire someone who has done a hair BBL.
Exactly. So they believe that
Uh-huh.
if I don't do it, my husband will go and chase. That is why it's bringing the cost of it. So now what she's going to do, anything she has saved, she's going to use it for a BBL. But she could have used it for an investment, real estate, buy a plot. So it just values, no. you're far western one, but we don't have the disposable income to live that lifestyle. So let's come and say, for some reason, they had better leaders, so they took better decisions, they have a better economy. We are not there yet. Let's be practical. Let's do the form but that doesn't seem too swag. When we get there, we'll also do the but now we can't afford the Case closed.
We will do with the one.
Then to be effective, that's why our boyfriends are thieves, our husbands are thieves, our leaders are thieves, because it costs money. You earn $1,200 and someone earns $12,000. He's doing you cannot afford the
So you must steal to make up
exactly. So we are surprised that there are so many churches. There are mosques and we go to church Friday, blah blah, but still
the pastors are doing their best yet.
That whatever, because they're all you are seeing there. No, they sacrifice. They even had 400 years of free labor on the back of slaves. Do you know what it does to your balance check, your balance sheet? If MTN was not paying their workers for the next 100, do you know how big a conglomerate they will be? So we don't have free slaves, we don't have free labor, so we don't have enough money to go around in terms of plan back and reinvestment to build a big Nestle and the rest that the Swiss and the others have built. So when I bring you Atajibobi or Nkate Boga, you should say Abobitadi. You should say because per my I can afford Abobitadi. When you also buy a Bentley and put a red
ribbon on
$13.
So let's say my background, I see my dad gives my mom a Range Rover, and that has been my standard. And you are giving me a Abobitadi and whatever.
No, so make sure that the guy you are going for earns what your daddy was earning. And make sure it's not his uncle's money. It's him. No, what you see, I have a lot of friends, but because of their dads are rich and they gifted them cars. So when you are then my auntie be like, hey, now they only in the area, so I don't know the old
also by time car because I know of an car.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that.
You and him are doing the national service. You know how much you guys were taking on. But it is uncle's car. And by the grace of God, I also had a rich uncle. You give me a car. It doesn't mean I earned it.
That's what I'm saying. Tell your auntie to gift you the car because that friend of mine, the auntie gave the car to me.
So they're on
because over time I'm used to seeing a certain trend.
They are in a certain
I also need you to understand that it is not the women buying pressure for the men.
No, and vice versa. That's what I'm saying. The guys have become thieves.
Because sometimes
we
give ourselves that
kind
of
we
pressure.
want to maintain some sort of lifestyle.
We give our own
pressure.
So the pressure. You better me are redefining the values. And we'll be happy. And I said the youth, they are more fluent than our parents. Our parents they are very bad. Hey, I change for them, for them. We don't care whether Charlie, this is in a job. Or if you don't pants out, if you don't do sports events, nobody will like. If you don't PS2, nobody. So the youth, we are more flexible. So anybody listening to me, let's come together and redefine our standards. The West, they have serious leaders and they're enjoying their own. And these MPP, I don't know when to get better. Until then, let's eat our body like that. Thank you.
To an extent, I agree. To an extent, I agree. I agree because you see, I think that for the kind of economy that is being run outside there, I mean, when you take away the conversation about the Western world, the Europes and the Americans and all that, you get to appreciate that. One of the things I find very difficult to do is when our friends get to the US and Canada and they are converting their salary into Ghana cedis, and you are wondering, you have changed the demographics of your work. Why do you still want to convert and impress me that you are earning way more than me? But I'm buying more than you.
Exactly.
You understand me? You are living your life on credit. I'm living my life on cash. Everything that I go into the shop to buy, I'm taking out the cash from my pocket and I'm buying it. So the economy outside there and what we are having right now, where I agree with KB bigly is when he says that it is making a lot of people thieves. It's making a lot of people dubious. It's making a lot of people
unchristian.
Yes, unchristian. Because Prophet Kofi Oduro asked the question that we have all these big men going to church every Sunday. So the question is, who is stealing the money? Where is the pressure coming from?
Exactly.
The answer is always nobody. Look at the number of people that join NSPPD. Look at the number of people that join Alpha Hour every night.
So our ladies are still single.
Still looking for that one breakthrough.
I'm not talking about
that
right.
one breakthrough.
Everyone is looking for that one breakthrough, and
a
there are
lot of
people.
them money can buy.
You know, there are people today who can't explain their breakthrough because where it came from, they can't tell anyone.
They say it's God.
Yes, they can
But
only
it is
share
God.
testimony.
Make your
No.
Eh.
So at the end of the day, we are seeing things. We are buying new things. Now people walk into your room, hey, it's only AC. Hey, it's only way. So that sort of pressure is pushing a lot of young people. Now the chase is for apartment. And if you know the price of apartments today, some people are paying as high as $2,000. And like Apostle said, how many young people today have disposable income like $2,000 every month to pay? And when aside that, they have this is it maintenance fee,
Yeah.
$250 a month and all that.
Service,
I was telling a friend, he said, Charlie, if somebody give you this apartment, you go take. I said, bro, and you are quoting $300. I can get an apartment, a nice place, $300. Oh, maintenance fee, and you'll be rent. You get it? Your maintenance fee, is someone's rent, $300. That's equivalent to like 4,000 Ghana cedis. You know, so these kind of pressures that we have, it's all from the lifestyle. It's all from what we are seeing. It's all from the new algorithms that we are, you know, we are being fed in the African, you know. Well, so at the end of the day, the redefining the narrative, retelling the story the Ghanaian way also would help. You know, I was in a conversation with my mom and she said that those days, engagements do not even get to 8 a.m. Then I asked myself, are you sure? She said,
Even
you
you
know, he said, oh, the moment people
exchange.
get up, the ceremony is done. So there is no aesthetics. There is no let there be a hanging. Let the cake come from the sky. Let someone bring a sword and come and be cutting the cake. All these things put pressure on the young people. So today, for someone to even go into marriage, he has to rethink his decision because they are expecting this from him. They are expecting that from him. He needs to bus people from here. He needs to get this auditorium. He needs to. There is so much pressure, and like KB said, I'm going back to everyone's pointers because KB said that an auntie will say, "Hey, our family, we don't do this. So when someone has a wedding in our family, we do it here, we do it there. So if you cannot afford this, then please change your mind." I witnessed a wedding where the groom was asked to sew his kaftans and that of his groomsmen at a particular designer's place by the lady's family.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
by the lady's
And
family.
it usually has a high price.
And right now, some of the groomsmen had to fall off because they felt like, Charlie boy, what's up? You can't tell these people.
My own dress that
Yeah,
I don't go
yeah,
to
because you know
How I
it
wish
all
Ghanaian
comes.
weddings in the right heaven. It's that when you're able to do, you have entered heaven. That one
It's
to be
big.
worth all the drama
So the
and
pressure is
the
there also
money
for-
and the.
Apart from these pressures, the economy itself is not even favorable. The example you gave about the cars. Now people want a small car
Keke
to even do a ride-hailing business.
problem.
90,000, 86,000.
Let's try.
And you look at the car and you're like, this car that was 15,000 Ghana cedis
For
3
real?
years ago, but now you can't
Yeah,
even
try
purchase it.
Kantanka.
Don't say 3 years ago.
Oh,
People will say
6
that.
years ago. 6 years ago. So I see where you're
So if we
going.
use Kantanka, it only makes sense.
Oh, Kantaka is equally
Like
expensive.
the Chinese did. They were using Ford and Lexus and the rest. They use their Patroka, their
Kantanka
pride.
is
Then, you
expensive.
see, practicality is where our problem is.
Kantaka is expensive.
You have not still apart from Apostle. I want somebody else to punch holes in my argument.
No, I
As a
understand.
Apostle, it's what
At
if
the
because
point,
I
no.
treat the pastors, he's trying to
You
do
are
things.
saying that we should do made in Ghana.
No, I didn't say made in Ghana.
No,
Practical.
you
But I
mentioned
agree with you.
Kantaka.
Not
But
everything is
until
made in
recently,
Ghana.
Kantaka
Not
was
everything
just
can be.
doing luxurious cars.
Yes.
Until
They were not doing
and it had
saloon
to be
cars.
a lot of calls on them.
True.
To do saloon
Especially
cars.
when
Yeah,
they were
the son
importing
explained. He
this
said-
Japanese cars,
No.
small cars.
When
from
they asked the
other
son, he
areas.
said it's easier to do large scale chassis for bigger cars than the smaller ones. So when the demand comes, for example, government has placed 5,000 demand for 5,000 attack and boost. He can then get the money, a particular plant for smaller chassis for smaller cars.
So
But
now
because-
you understand it's a policy issue.
True.
No, I understand. No,
you see,
Yes.
KB,
It's not
let me
policy.
come in.
No,
Let
let
me
me
come in.
agree
Let me
that
come in.
it is worth it. If it's a good brand, Ghanaians haven't agreed and accepted that it is worth the brand for us to put our money in. That's why we are not in
The issue
investment.
of the issue of
We are
I don't
able
think it's
to
good
use
enough.
okay,
it frequently.
KB, the issue of making sure every senior high school is eating rice cultivated in Ghana. What do you think it is? It's a policy issue.
But a Ghanaian.
It's not a behavior issue.
No, it's a Ghanaian.
No, it is a policy
No, the person
issue. Because
is
you
a
see,
Ghanaian.
there
No,
are people.
You see, you want to make
Let
it
me land.
national.
Let me land.
No, because he's misquoting me. I didn't say a human being who pass a policy.
Yeah.
And if that committee are not convinced that eating Ghana rice is good enough, that conversation will
Why
become
do they have
become
to
policy.
be convinced?
Because they have to accept that we want to eat perfume, right? Because it's befitting, like you said, go and sew it as a certain place. We have to accept that Agatha, the seamstress at the back, she's good enough. Until you accept that Agatha behind us is good enough, you even make that investment.
But do you know the problem with that? So assuming everybody bought made in Ghana rice or had grown in Ghana rice, and everybody bought Kantanka, do you think that the problem will be solved? So that's
It will not be that
I'm saying
outrageous that we cannot handle. Do you know how much we spend on Yamadi, importing Yamadi?
So KB, we are not.
I think we are not ready for the practical
we are not
difficult things. For example,
KB, we are not disagreeing with you. What we are saying is,
when you say it's prayerful, that's my problem.
No, he's saying that it looks like a long run
No,
kind of.
because by our nature we like to be fake.
No,
so when because you see, you can't give what you don't have.
It
When you
took
are fake,
300 years for America to move from their old lifestyle to the new lifestyle,
Guess
which
what?
accommodated
Guess what?
300
there was
years.
not a plethora and an accommodating environment that will bring the exponential change like now. In 2024, anything you want is on your phone. Black people will make the excuse that America take 300 years. So, hey, now Papa in time on the top Benz. Oh, this is 60, no, but now there are things you can do and you can get a Benz at 35. When you tell that guy, you be like, Charlie Master, God go do one. No! Go and work your bum off and you will get it. So, because we are not practical, when you preach practicality, it sounds too difficult, you sound too outrageous. That is my problem. What is wrong with eating gobe? Until you know, it's like, oh, when you eat gobe, you are broke, you are some loser in life. Until some
KB, I think he's scratching where it's not.
Yeah, I think that some of these conversations have been going on. For instance, when people are told that the fact that you take trotro doesn't mean you are poor. We've heard this. It's not a new thing. The change.
But why do we keep taking trotro, even though we don't have them? Hey, why do we avoid trotro, even though we can afford an Uber?
So I'm saying that
because
the engagements and the
want to
interactions
impress has still not changed the fact that the girl you want to impress is still so far I can say marry a simple guy, but she's not convinced that she deserves a simple guy.
With you. So what the point?
No, you are saying it's not practical. It's peripheral. Peripheral means it's one of those things, but it is quintessential.
That's what we are saying.
Practical living. Look at the Chinese. They wear 3 shirts. Look at them in Okaishi. Ghana, your man alone, no beard, small barber shop, no popping charts, Ralph Lauren. The Chinese wear 3. My ancestors are in Okaishi. Or best shirt slippers. Or been in 2 years on Sisanda. Ghana Ninya alone, no Akotofila, Reebok, wristwatch, Rolex. We are not practical.
My question is, if we did all the things you are
we will not, because we are not convinced it's a solution. In case we did.
If we did,
then our girls will get a opportunity to make our girls do all. We will not have a funny face issue because our productivity will match our lifestyle and our desire. So we will not be thieves, we will not be stressed, because guess what? When you are a thief, you get attracted a curse. That's one thing Ghanaians don't know.
But
and maybe the curse on the thief, I believe, is on Ghana. Because everything you have to do to impress your busuya, for your children, your headmaster, you have to steal.
But not everybody, not everybody.
Because the people you are living with, they are fake.
KB, but not everyone is doing things to impress. Some of the let me finish.
But the majority who want to impress.
Let me finish. Some of the pressures that people feel are not necessarily because they want to impress someone. There are uncertainties in life that happens to people, okay, that makes the trajectory of their life change. For instance, all of a sudden you lose your parents. You need to fend for your kid brothers, kid sisters. Then you also have a life to live. Maybe you are married. Then you have kids. You need to take care of your kids. So one person actually becomes the breadwinner of about 5 or 6 people. And you understand in the African setting, the dependency ratio of the people who look up to other people are higher than those who are actually working.
Because our insurance industry is a fraud.
No, I'm not talking about insurance. No,
you are
not. No, you are changing the conversation.
Yes, I was watching a station.
KB, you are changing the conversation. That's not even what I'm talking about.
But you are
that's
making
not.
me look
That's
like when
not
your
what.
father dies. It's the end of the
No,
world.
no,
Because
no,
your insurance industry.
That's not what I'm even talking about. I'm not talking about insurance companies. I'm talking
making
about
reasons
people that have
happen.
real life situations
that gives
that
real life
puts
pressure.
pressure.
Yes.
that puts
Still
pressure
landed.
on them.
Apostle,
So
the reason why I'm
Oh,
cutting him there, that the
jeez,
same
Kevin.
person in
Yeah,
Connecticut,
I made
the
it.
same
Kevin,
gentleman.
I didn't interrupt you.
But the same gentleman in Connecticut or Chicago, because insurance works properly.
Not
here,
everyone in America has insurance.
Yeah,
Not-
the majority.
You
The
see-
majority of insurance claims in America, it works. Yeah, you're cover. Ain't the papa who
There
you
are
will not
people
struggle
who
the
are
way
take-
the African
there are-
Kwachi will struggle in Africa.
There are
That is our
people
problem.
taking their claims in Ghana and they are not delayed.
They are not
So-
enough, so they don't trust insurance. It's only the elite who trust insurance. I have run insurance promos before. The average Ghanaians, they don't trust us.
It's
More
because
attractive for
there
Muslim
is
Ubedi.
no-
That's why I want this lady to speak, because no. I say, I'm doing prayer for. I want her to speak.
No.
She's quite neutral. Won't have a pastor as of one two of I'm not going to a good pastor. I'm talking about the.
I'm talking about
Ketuale
happenstances in life.
After observing Josie Uka.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm talking
then
about-
give me a very neutral.
I'm talking about happenstances in life. Not everything is done to impress people.
Of course.
The kind of pressure
I
people
didn't say
feel.
that, did I?
No, you
No,
are saying
you
that
did- you
people
said
want to
impress.
impress
He's making
their
a-
Yeah,
girlfriends.
the
and
majority.
Let him
And
land.
I'm making a
Make a
different
point.
point that there are a lot of pressures in town today.
Yeah,
And it is
genuine.
not on the
Am I-
basis
Are
of
they
impression.
more than the one that we are trying
It
to
is
do?
No.
becoming more these days.
I
Because-
think lifestyle pressure is more, but with the trust.
But where does lifestyle pressure also come from?
Values.
No, not only
You want
that.
to copy the West.
Not
No.
only that.
Now,
There,
14th, if
there
don't buy
are
flowers
people
from
today.
girls,
There are
you don't
people
love
today
them.
who are 35 living with their parents because they need to pay for the rent.
Yeah.
Because
And they have not moved out because if they move out, nobody will take care of their parents.
Yes.
And that is not impressing anybody.
No.
of course.
That is the kind of pressure we are
If
talking
I
about.
tell you that
So if
what
Oh,
are you talking about?
Oh yeah, Juma.
the person is working,
Oh yeah.
we are not saying that the person is not working.
Company is not making enough revenue to
No,
pay
no,
for
no,
him
no,
to
no.
take his parents out
Kevin,
of the house.
you
So
are
you come in front of me
changing-
and say,
you are changing the conversation. Kevin, we are changing the conversation.
1,002
Do you really think everybody that sells foods makes money?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying when that particular individual, that case study you gave,
Uh-huh.
if the folks will give him more money, you tell that wakwa share say unko yet.
So you see, you don't have to conclude that the person doesn't. Okay, what she can also help is that the person should open his or her mind to
Yes.
other opportunities.
In
Like
life.
selling
Some
foods.
So what we're saying
Other
is
Like selling
opportunities.
food.
people are willing to
Even
do,
selling
people are willing
water.
to do donkey jobs.
Yes.
Mhm.
the
But
point
it is still
the
not.
point is that you may work hard as you can, but
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
certain things are not taken care of.
Yes.
But if in the darkness,
Mhm.
I won't say doomsday.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
the darkness, you may be willing, you may have all the abilities. In the darkness, what can you do?
What can you do?
You can adopt solar, but you will not because it is
You
more.
know
It
how
will
much
take a
solar
long
costs
term
to
investment.
install?
Master,
Well, it will take a longer term investment.
Master.
I used to sell solar to people. They would say, "Oh, initial in Anwar, but he has 3 Range Rovers and a Benz in his garage."
Let me say.
Storm Benz,
let me
but
say
I'm not
something.
long term
Kevin,
solar.
let me say
yet,
something.
because when I'm going to a funeral, I use the
The
black
person me
Bentley.
pay crown and me come out.
Everybody should see me that I'm coming the black Bentley. When my daughter know where the end when I'm the office. So those 3 cars, one can get you a solar panel that will not.
That's
let
not
you
what
depend
we are
on them.
even
So
talking
he
about.
will not. Me say, "Mo ye fake."
No.
It will
No,
values
listen,
and
listen.
practical. That's
Like
why
I
you're
said, there are
fake.
certain issues that are
Let's
policy
accept it.
issues. It has nothing to do
Even
with
some of our
what you
leaders
are
are
saying.
fake.
I'm giving you an example. There are friends. There are friends who move to Canada. They move to the UK. They don't need to worry about the light going off.
Yes.
They don't need to worry about the water not flowing.
Yes.
It is not part of their worries.
Why?
Because the policy and the systems there,
The
not just the
practical
behavior.
decisions
No.
their leaders took.
Let me tell you something.
The practical
There are
decisions.
crime rates in America.
Of course.
There are bad behavior in these Western countries.
Yeah. But does it
What do you
cloud
think puts
their
them in
impression?
check? No.
It
For
doesn't.
instance, in Ghana today, what is the allocation of funds even to mental health for people to actually just wake up?
We believe
Hold on, let me
You know
let me
that I
explain.
read that
To
it's a
just
basic
wake up,
human right.
yes, basic. Walk to a hospital and say, "Hey,
Check.
my dream yemi na
Yeah.
kakra. I
It's
just
a
need a
basic
doctor."
human
We have only
right.
3 facilities, Pantai, Accra,
Do you know why it's like
Ankara.
that? They
No,
don't believe
I'm making a
it
point.
is part-
No, Kevin,
it's
let
a
me
package.
land.
They believe it's
Because
spiritual.
in these
So they don't
countries,
invest in it.
no,
Kevin,
in
let
these
me-
countries, you give your money to a landlord, but he doesn't give you a place of convenience.
Yes.
Whose problem do you think that is?
Rent control.
What rent? It's government policy.
Your rent control is an offshoot of government.
No,
It's leadership.
so at the end of the day, do you
If
think
it
it's
is not
only behavior?
effective,
If I go there with
No,
my
yes.
good
So
behavior,
observing, what can we do? So, in case it is government policy,
yes,
for the young person out there
Mm-hmm.
watching, what can we do?
we must generate
Are
the
we
advocates.
helpless?
We must no, we are not. We must generate the advocates by talking like we are doing right now. Because you see, all of these things that we are complaining about, just with one policy, some of these things can be eradicated.
And
We can reduce it because the China he cited, for instance, they have controlled the algorithm of TikTok. And there are things that Chinese children do not see. And the things they see are engineering, math, science, all the STEM courses. Now, this will move that Chinese child to go into areas where they can do things that are related to engineering because that is what the present day requests. Okay? And that is the need. The present things are data analytics and these ALS courses that people are reading and all that. That is the present need of the world right now. But what we also see, because we take everything hook, line, and sinker, garbage in, garbage out, it is giggle. Because if you do not regulate, if you do not modify, if you allow people to just pour in whatever they are bringing, see, this light issue, people are saying that there are gadgets that take more current and all that. It's all because we are taking products that have been worn out and we are buying fridges that have been used by 8 people already and all of these things. There are a lot of things that are policy issues. It has nothing to do with someone impressing another person. Because you see, when I go into someone's house and I want to rent your place, I'm coming with a good behavior. I have good sanitary hygiene. I have a good lifestyle. But if I pay you and you don't have a place of convenience, where should I take care of myself when nature calls? Whose job is to make sure that every compound house, those who can't afford a self-contained.
Then he's talking about government intervention.
So that is that I'm telling you. No. I'm saying that there are certain things that are working well in other jurisdictions because of policy, not because of behavior. Because you see, when someone runs a red light in America, no police will chase them.
No.
Because you will receive your ticket.
Yes.
In Ghana, you tell us you remember the CCTV that will arrest you. I don't remember
when someone pays for their rent in the Europe and all that, they know the things that comes with the payment of the rent, and they are paying monthly. We are in a country where a landlord can use a pipe in the house, okay?
You won't pay.
You
So
get a point. No, but something can check him.
Yeah. If
There is something that can check him. At
first,
first, we used to apply to schools and wait for the schools to respond to us. Oh, you are on waiting list. We cannot take you. We cannot.
And we
But
did
after
a
the
computer
CPSS, yes, now it has taken away that
The
pressure
human-
of chasing the school. Hey, present for the man to waiting list. Accra Academy for some member next week be checking. All those things are dying out. So there are things. There are things that
Somebody
policy.
has to accept technology for it to work.
No.
Your behavior will trigger government decisions.
No.
That's
Government
it.
are
It's
human beings.
decisions,
Yeah,
not
that is
behavior.
it. You
It's
have to
decisions
conform
from the
to it.
leadership
Yeah, but
level,
but you see,
not
the
behavior.
leadership is a human being. He's a Ghanaian.
KB, they are not mutually exclusive. So
No.
what we are saying is that, first of all, policy. Secondly, behavior. Because
Yes.
you can have good policy.
But you can control your behavior. You
Bad
can't control
behavior.
policy.
Have you seen bus stop boys on TikTok?
Yes, those guys. Yes.
Yeah.
I've
What
seen
do they do?
They clean the stuff.
They
the trash.
cleaned CRC a week ago. When they went back a week later, do you know what had happened to the golf house?
What?
It was worse than they met it. So I'm telling you that you can have a good behavior, KB. You can have a good intent, but sometimes intentions don't matter. You can ask the good Samaritan. Sometimes intentions don't matter. Some people say, oh, maybe they had the intent of helping. Intentions don't matter sometimes.
It's policy.
It's policy.
But who is driving
It's-
the policy?
but
a
who-
human being.
Because
So his intent in the
what
first
do you think
place-
the Westerners do? They monetize indiscipline.
It's a mindset.
You can
It's a mindset.
you can have your
It's
bad
a
behavior.
behavioral thinking.
We
Like,
don't
I
care,
pay for
they
but you
chose-
pay for
they
it.
chose to capitalize on indiscipline.
Who-
It's a choice. It's a thinking.
who
it's
is
a human.
paying for it?
It's a homo
The
sapien
more you
behavior.
are
No,
being
but
indisciplined,
as
the more
humans
you
as
pay.
we are, if you study social psychology, humans as we are, we have the potential of doing otherwise.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is why laws, rules, and regulations are put in place.
Exist.
Why do we have constitutions? To regulate behavior.
Ghana, why don't we follow the constitution?
What constitution are we not following?
Let's not deviate.
So I'm talking about the press. People have.
He's
Policy
making it
does
look
not
policy.
work.
No.
Policy comes from
But we are not-
vacuum. It comes from humans. It comes
Half-
from humans
half-
who have a certain
half of
value.
the pressure the young boys and the young girls are feeling today, some policies can solve them.
Yes.
Half of the
The
pressure.
reason why you are not seeing those policies are the people to bring the right policy. They don't have the right mindset in the first place. For example, we can make a lot of money from indiscipline. We are choosing to make it look. We are. For example, we are wishing the baller away. So every year, let's believe God, and when they fly, people won't die. That is a mindset. We are believing God. It will not work. You have to be serious. and know that you have to
That's
do.
what he's talking about policy.
Yes, but the person to push the policy, in the first place, to go all out. For example, if you push the policy and your party member has to be punished, he doesn't have the worldview that, hey, for the that mindset that a Ghana person cannot jail a Ghana person is a problem. In America, if you are from Missouri and you are whatever. So Boydu's problem is that, KB's problem is that the mindset has to change. Those in the helm of affairs, they have certain behavioral traits in their mind that government will be done. So for as far as he's not putting his all, he will not even follow up with the policies for it to bring the resultant effect. That will reduce our pressure and let our ladies
I am very happy you mentioned that.
Yes, so it starts with them as if I'm the president. Because I have a certain mind that let me benefit from indiscipline. I'll put in policies that will punish indiscipline and bring money. But if I think that we put that wishful, God, let's believe God. The more we pray, God will be better. You see, when you externalize a problem, our parents, most of them, I'm going to where Apostle would, but they were more of superstitious. We be fine. Kasa. Bibia fine is that you have to push it. And prophecy can come, but if you don't work, it won't happen. Our parents live in religious superstition back then that when you say you are going to prosper, you have to always say, go to prayer, do this. But anyway, you can perhaps not pray. But when you get a right housing loan facility, you will get a building that. It doesn't mean you should forget God. So they are in a position where they don't believe in certain practical things. That is why the policy you are not seeing. They don't believe it.
It's not belief. It is a change of policy, and I'm explaining what you have just explained. Okay, you talked about someone not penalizing another person
because they are from the same tribe.
It is not tribe. It is the law that gives him the power, because the executive arm of government, per our 1992 Constitution, gives the president absolute power. In America, what is done in Detroit cannot be done in California because they are autonomous, and what they decide over there is not influenced by.
There's a federal state.
You get my point. So in this case, if you do not make the president the only person that appoints MCs, DCs, ministers, cabinet men, and also appoint a special prosecutor, if you feed me, how will I penalize somebody who works for you?
But you
no. Answer that question. Answer. If you feed me, how do I penalize somebody that works for you?
So that's what I'm saying. Our Article 71 will become a tribe. They form a Ghana state. And
so that is not a behavior issue. It's a policy issue.
Article 71 people, they form a tribe. We don't arrest each other.
No.
Unless the opposition
I didn't even talk about tribe. I talked about
the parents' time. Tribalism was a big deal. If he has to arrest, if he's IGP and he has to arrest his hometown person, it was up to hey, now I only are chimney now about no. And I'm saying at that time, that was how their value system worked. But we realize that now, if the person at him and is bad for the state, you have to arrest the person.
What?
But the people crying in the helm of affairs, they don't have that value that, hey, me at if my uncle steals money, he's a minister, I can jail him. They don't have that mindset because back then, it formed their mindset. But now we realize that when the pastor rapes a child, it is affecting us.
What sort of?
So we don't care. That's why you're getting the issues with, excuse me, the Bongo and the training. Now they are tired of the hypocrisy our parents were doing. They're like, guys, why are you not arresting this person? Oh, because I have a party financer. But go on, man. So that is why I'm saying that their time, it's a tribe thing. Tribe is not necessarily gown. Article 70, all Butcher boys, all preserve 40. So that back then.
What sort of regime made people respect the law?
What sort of regime?
Yeah, made people.
Because we have military and ways.
Yes.
No. It's all part of the pressure.
But also, I think that I agree.
Apostle wants to run away from the fact that whether we like it or politicians are part of the pressure. So in common, you did a relationship. You did a posture. You did we are talking some parts.
I would also like to say that in my view.
Maybe
I think we should allow the ladies to flow.
Yeah, so now let's allow Josie.
Please, you and her.
With this life pressure that we are
30 seconds.
with this life pressure that we are talking about, we should do well to live within our means. And sometimes, even when the opportunity is presented to us to live beyond our means, the question we should ask ourselves is, if this opportunity is not there, will I be able to maintain it? If you be able to maintain it, you take it up. If you not be able to maintain it, you make decisions so that if this person is no longer there, can I continue living so that I won't get myself in a situation that will bring untold pressures onto myself or on my mind to become radical and do other things. So when we are doing things, we should think, we should project and ask ourselves whether we can still maintain the status quo before we zoom into it. That's what I have to say.
Josie?
Okay, so Romans 12:2. It says, "Do not conform to the patterns of the world, of this world, but be ye transformed."
Please
By-
read it a bit louder.
Okay, so it says, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." So what are we living our lives by? We have to at least renew our mindsets from the root causes. When our minds are right, I think things will just realign. You know, we are all on the edge in this country. At the least provocation, we are coming at you. Because recently, I think I was with my friend, and we were just buying something. It looks like the person was already off in her mood. So at the least, we ujimomo. We almost got it. So it's like we are all not okay. Let me just say, we are all not okay. But we can start from somewhere. What are you measuring your lives by? Are you content? I think when we are content, that's where happiness sets in. And then it develops, and then we get there.
So from your perspective, basically, people should go back to God
Try.
and we should renew.
Oh, God actually answered. You know, so we have to count our blessings, be content, and live.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So counting will remove the question.
I think that
When your minds are right.
our nation lives on the jungle rule.
Our
If you
continent.
our continent lives on the jungle rule, survival of the fittest, and we see it everywhere. Whatever we do, the means of survival has overshadowed the means to do right.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to survive. So even with the trotro drivers, somebody wants to overtake another person to take the next person. So they are not even taking into consideration accident, what might happen in case I overtake this person and I hit. Someone can stay in the middle of the road and pick passengers just because there is another person behind him and he doesn't want that person to. So that person is frustrated and might vent on a passenger who has not even done anything to him. So the pressure is like everywhere because everybody just wants to survive. People are stealing from people, people are taking advantage of people, and they are feeling the pressure everywhere. So what I would like to say is that the kind of pressure we are feeling in this nation, coming from the nation, our president and his cabinet ministers, parliamentarians, whoever they are, together with some private employers and whatever that it is, I think that this nation needs an awakening because we are losing the builders of the nation to other countries. If all the youth of the nation japa and they leave, we wouldn't have anyone to build this nation. And that's the truth of the matter. We may act like we are okay with it, but the number of young people leaving the nation just because of the pressure. Because you see, they have gauged, and it is not because they are not working. They are working, but if you take a look at the meager salary they are receiving, they think that staying here will not put them in a position to support family, to support home, to support even their wives and husbands. So we have nurses today, they look at their salaries, and sometimes it's not even just the salary. When the salary comes, 6 months later, 8 months later. So you have a sister, she's a midwife, she has a job, she baths, she dresses up, but you child, baby, your salary by December. All these things put pressure on the young people. So any least opportunity to japa, they japa to a place where even though the code is killing them, they will master the courage and be in that code in order to survive and send money home so that they would know that I'm taking care of family and I'm being able to support, you know, with the little that I have. If KB will come in before I read the comments.
No, I think,
maybe. Okay.
I want rebuttals on my point because
no. We are not here to rebut. We are here to cap the crazy people and the crazy pressure in town
I
and all
want
that.
to buttress what Smart said about we needing
Because
an
our time is
awakening.
up.
Yeah,
Oh.
we needing an awakening as a country, and I think it's true. If I want to give a classical example about how the youth actually move from the rural areas to the urban areas. We should just take a good look at how it would look like as a country if the youth continue to leave this country. It will become redundant, like in our villages. Nobody is there. No proper development is ongoing because they have all come down to the cities to work. And imagine Ghana looking like that. So that should be the picture in our mind, so that's that huge awakening that is needed in order to retain and maintain the working force in the country to come into force. They should do that because it's looking dangerous. Very dangerous.
So we have Colin Sopokwa Ajimai from Facebook. Says, great program, great discussions, great panel. Nana Efia Treme, watching live from Sunyani, she says, I think true love is based on acceptance, intimacy, and nurturing. People always get upset and withdraw their contributions when the expected doesn't happen. But no one is perfect, and love is life. It should be pushed with hard work, vigilancy, and trust. God bless you, Apostle Francis. I think she was referring to the case of Funny Face. Efia Treme again says that I'm watching you live from Sunyani. Funny Face is funny. Next time, he should cut his cloth according to his cloth. Go for what he can handle. Money cannot change a woman's behavior. Hey, that is debatable. That is very debatable. Now, this is Asian from Takrady. He says, Apostle, please, I think KB doesn't want to accept that it is a policy issue.
Thank you very much. Today we didn't open the phone lines. God willing, next week we'll do that. It looks like we haven't even scratched the surface.
No, we've not
this,
even.
of this topic.
We're talking about we're talking about Funny Face. We didn't really talk about mental health and how broad
Oh,
it can be.
we did.
I think all the faces.
But then there's more to talk about.
There's more to talk about. So I think we're talking about the fact that pressure is a contributing factor to mental health issues. And in his case, it was relationship pressure, financial pressure, you know, and I think we talked about projected pressure.
Yeah,
from
projected pressure
people and so on.
industry.
So God willing, next week we would really get the time to talk more in depth. Okay. Also because of the darkness that came. Because of the darkness, we couldn't really look at something.
It put too much pressure on our
Let
minds.
me have my last one. I didn't know you were. So all I can say is that if you're a youth here, just live a life of balance. Policy will come from the external. The internal is what you can also do for yourself. And I'm saying that as the young people, I'm young. We've done a lot of things that we didn't need our parents to tell us. We explored, some made mistakes, we learned from it and all that. Let's bring back that fluidity of youth, where we define things that will make us comfortable. If government decides to be bad leaders, so be it. But let's redefine what our values are. And if now our lifestyle and our values are making us buy pressure for ourselves, let's redefine and take the practical route and we'll be fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you had KB the MC, Lucy, Josie, and Smart the observing journalist joining us today. We were looking at crazy pressure, crazy people. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you same time next week on To Be Frank. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.